I'd like to call the Site Plan Review Committee to order for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Roll call, please.
Mayor Podolsky,
Here.
Gary Paul,
Here.
Andy Krosky,
Here.
Gail Quinn,
Here.
Kara Rathburn.
Here.
I thought Dan was coming, but Dennis is excused.
Okay, please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remember our men and women throughout the world in uniform. I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion to approve.
Move to approve as presented. A second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, action on the minutes of the site plan review from September 5th, 2023. Does anybody want to?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Number 6, action items. 6A, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request by Myron Construction for a proposed parking lot expansion for Packer Fastener, located at 500 Pilgrim Way, parcel VA-132-2-1. Aaron.
All right, thank you. Let me share my screen. And I'll bring up the subject site plan here. There we go. All right, for those of you familiar with this property, this is Verhalen Pella building. Packer Fastener is moving some office purposes to the back side of the building. Along with that, then, we'll be adding on some parking area to the rear of the building. So these are the train tracks, South Ashland Avenue, Pilgrim Way, and Broadway. Back to the building right here, paved asphalt parking lot. And for those of you familiar with the drive on South Ashland and Lombardi, the pedestal right here with the world's largest nut. In terms of recommended conditions of approval, conventional curb pan or rolled curbing is required for the asphalt parking lot addition. The addition of at least 2 ADA parking spaces, with one being van accessible in the parking lot addition near the north entrance vestibule. And then from Bike and Ped, the addition of bicycle parking meeting the standards of the Association of Pedestrian and Bike Professionals near the primary entrance. And also from, from engineering, stormwater, install and maintain proper erosion control best practice management. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we do have representatives of Myron and Packer Fastener in the audience as well.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Aaron, it met all our ordinances.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve as presented. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the site plan for Packer Fastener at 500 Pilgrim Way. With staff conditions, correct? Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 6B, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request by Robert E. Lee and Associates for a proposed patio for Lombardi Brewing Company located at 2325 Holmgren Way, parcel VA-116-8-1. Aaron.
All right, this is the strip mall with Bread Smith near Epic Event Center, corner of Holmgren and Cormier. Probably familiar with it. Currently, there is a driveway access right here that goes from this property to the property to the north along and then exit to Cormier. The same property owner owns both properties and is fully in support of the proposed patio. There are no recorded access easements that would require that access to be there, and there was no public safety requirement for it either. So the proposed patio, as depicted on screen right here, would extend out to the kind of the northwest part of the property, enclosing that driveway access area. There are 2 egress points, one to the north, one to the south from the fenced-in patio area. Access to the patio would be via 2 overhead garage doors from the building itself. You can see that garage doors are located here and here. It's a pretty straightforward process. In terms of recommended conditions of approval, just a couple of them. Verify proper egress is in place for the new patio area in accordance with Chapter 10 of the 2015 International Building Code. From engineering stormwater, please provide documentation that the 2 stormwater ponds have been maintained. From public safety, coordinate with public safety on the Knox box location on the exterior near the main entrance. No comments from forestry. And from bike and ped, the addition of bicycle parking meeting standards of the Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals near the primary entrance. And then one more from zoning. Meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review and all other applicable village ordinances. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
My biggest concern when this first came forward was public safety, but if they're okay with closing off that driveway, then I'm okay with it. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
There was no problem in shutting that off, I understand.
No.
Okay, all right.
Aaron, is there anything on gates going in and out?
There's a gate to the north and a gate to the south.
Okay.
One of the conditions of approval is to verify the egress path distances under the 2015 IBC, or International Building Code.
Okay, all right. There's no other questions. I'll move to approve with staff conditions.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve with staff conditions for Lombardi Brewing Company at 2325 Holmgren Way. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 6C, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request by Robert E. Lee and Associates for a new 4-story Cambria hotel located at 2113-2149 South Oneida Street, parcels VA-67-A-8, VA-67-A, VA-460-P-108, and VA-90-4-11. Aaron.
Right. The requested site plan is before you after coming before you last month for a PUD request that ultimately was approved by the village board for a 4-story Cambria hotel on Oneida Street. And I'll just bring up the site plan. So since you last saw it, I believe you saw it as a 5-story Cambria. The revision to the site plan to accommodate a 4-story Cambria was to, again, maintain the frontage along South Oneida Street, attach a little L section right here to allow for the addition, to maintain the 100 rooms that they had under the 5-story. That was really the only major change from what you reviewed at Site Plan Review Committee. In terms of the exterior, you can see here's a 4-story elevation, and then a few additional renderings, elevations you see here. The lower left-hand is the one that fronts actually on Oneida Street. In terms of the staff report, mentioned the orientation of the building to South Oneida Street right here in accordance with our village code. There will also be mixed uses in there, including a cocktail lounge on the roof and a restaurant on the first floor. There's a total of 122 parking stalls. That was also a condition of the planned unit development as approved by the village board. There are, again, landscape islands. Shows up on the landscape plan, which you have in your packet as well. Pretty extensive trees, shrubs, et cetera. Bicycle parking is identified to the rear of the building. We do have a recommendation or a condition that that be moved closer to the front of the building away from the trash enclosure. And I'll touch on those conditions here in a bit. In terms of exterior materials, it certainly meets the requirements of our site plan review ordinance. It's a mixture of storefront window glazing, adhered stone, thin brick, and architectural metal wall panels, or just wall panels with concealed fasteners. The adhered stone and thin brick are utilized on the first floor, consistent with the requirements for that masonry wainscoting on the first floor. I did include a addendum to the staff report, handout just before the meeting. In terms of just some of the review objectives that we take a look at internally, we don't typically explicitly list out those objectives, but I thought in this case it made sense to identify those as far as promoting integrated land uses, so on and so forth. So objective number 1, go through a listing of those objectives and how the proposed site plan and design does meet the review objectives for both the PUD and the site plan objectives. In terms of the recommended conditions of approval, touch on those. As the building is greater than 50 feet tall and with an airport zoning district C, the applicant must obtain an application for a height permit and approval from the Green Bay Austin Straubel Airport Director. Submittal of a lighting plan with cut sheet and proposed light fixture documentation. Recordation of a certified survey map to remove any parcel lines from going through the building or located within any setback areas. The catch-all meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review, 17.200, and all other applicable village ordinances. From engineering, coordinate lateral abandonment, water and new lateral installation, water storm hydrant relocate in the road right-of-way with the village utility supervisor. Remove the wide concrete apron on Element Way shown on the demolition plan and replace with standard barrier curb and restore terrace area to grass, except in location of the proposed driveway. Coordinate all driveway curb cut work on Oneida Street with Brown County Highway Department. Submit a stormwater management plan to village engineer for review. From public safety, coordinate with public safety regarding the exact location of the fire department connection or FDC and connection diameters. Contact public safety to determine Knox box location near main entrance and secondary location near the FDC. From forestry, please verify that the large maturing trees, Freeman maple, hackberry, honey locust, and sycamore, used will not interfere with parking lot lighting located in the interior parking lot islands. If so, please consider using a small maturing species such as Japanese tree lilac or flowering crab. And from Bike and Ped, reposition the bike parking meeting the standards of the Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals near the main entrance in a more visible and secure location. I guess with that, I'll maybe hand it off to Joel, Patrick, if you had anything to add.
The only thing that I would add is that Aaron had passed out to you some other written findings of fact. So each of you have those written findings of fact at your dais for consideration on this particular project. There has been an extensive review in relation to the project, to the code, and based on staff's recommendation, we feel that there is substantial evidence to suggest that the proposal has met the conditions of both code and the requirements of the PUD. So with that, we could certainly go into details on those written findings of fact. Otherwise, they are presented to you for the record.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
And I should mention too that the development team is in the audience if you have any questions for them.
Okay, thank you.
Aaron, I know you do a good job on making sure that all these exterior designs are done to our code, and I'm assuming you've done that with a great deal of time and effort. I don't see anything wrong with the appearance of the building as long as it does meet our code. So at this point on this committee, I move to approve this project and move it forward to our plan board this evening.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the site plan for a new 4-story Cambria Hotel at 2113-2145 South Oneida. Any
Just
other-
to clarify, is that with staff conditions?
I'm sorry, with staff
Yes, with
conditions?
staff conditions.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Aaron. Yeah. Okay, is there any other comments, concerns, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 6D, consider, discuss, act on a planned unit development request by Engberg Anderson Architects for a new active adult apartment building and branch library, the Promenade, located at 2305 San Luis Place, parcel VA-99-5. Aaron.
All right, thank you. I'm just going to share my screen again here. and bring up the site plan for the project. Provided my computer cooperates with me. And it's not going to. So let me just bring that up again. Bear with me a second here. Okay, there we go. So this is the redevelopment of the, those who've been around a while, the former San Luis Manor Nursing Home site or the Maple Ridge Nursing Home. This has been a cooperative effort between the village, Woodside, and Brown County Special Library Board in terms of putting forth a development that includes active adult apartment units, a new Brown County branch, or new Ashwaubenon branch of the Brown County Library, and also a small cafe along with a number of exterior amenities and interior amenities for the residents. So as depicted on the site plan, as you can see here, this is Cormier Road to the north, San Luis Place to the west. To the east, we have a row of commercial buildings up against Oneida Street. Target, of course, is located across San Luis Place further to the west, and Nativity Parish is located to the north. In terms of the overall site plan, you see parking here is located to the side. We have a plaza area, green space wrapping around the building itself, incorporating the library. And then in terms of the, moving on to the site plan, the property is built into the hill. There's quite a slope there. In this case, it works out well. The parking actually is at grade, but built into the hill. So there's covered parking, as we'll call it, for the residents. There's also exterior parking for residents and visitors and library patrons. The library is one story, but open up to the second floor ceiling, so it has a large, tall ceiling. And then you can see the some amenities as well as then the floor plates for the rooms continuing up for a total of 75 feet in height. And that is the request for the PUD. The 75 feet is at this point measured from the eastern part of the building. Bring up the site plan again for reference. So at 75 feet, basically at the foot of the slope to the top of the building on this part of the property, and on the San Luis Place or the western side, right around 58 feet or so. So again, it's built into the hill, which is why the grade changes like that. I did mention, similar to the previous project, as the building height exceeds 50 feet, it will require Austin-Straubel Airport approval. Exterior building materials include aluminum storefront window glazing, some veneer stone. Let me just bring that elevation up for you. Masonry veneer, quarry stone veneer, and board formed concrete, and two types of system wall cladding, both with concealed fasteners. All of these do meet our site plan design review requirements in terms of exterior materials. I do want to note that any rooftop or ground mounted mechanical units visible from property boundaries or public right of way is to be screened again under our code. As a request is for a PUD with site plan review, planning commission review, and village board review, and approval is required in addition to site plan review committee. Similar to the previous project, I did include a addendum at Judeas for the PUD and site plan review committee review objectives that goes into more detail on the rationale and background for how the proposal does meet, in staff's opinion, the site plan design review requirements and the PUD as submitted. In terms of recommended conditions of approval, we do have a few. I'll list those out. As noted, screen any rooftop or ground-mounted mechanical units visible from the property boundaries or public right-of-way. Verify if there's an accessible route in addition to the exterior monumental stair in order to access the patio seating, coffee shop, and other amenities on level 1 from the parking lot. Meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review and all other applicable village ordinances. Coordinate sewer connection in Cormier Road with village utility supervisor. From stormwater, again, engineering. Revised stormwater report, page 3, Dutchman's Creek watershed, or use Dutchman's Creek watershed, not the Fox River. And 52% total suspended solids required to meet the total maximum daily load, not 40%. Kind of getting in the weeds on that, but it is important to note that. And then also on page 4, just a note regarding Ashwaubenon, not Whitewater. On the site, including a flat swale slope to the east along the south property line, so point discharge from the bioretention storm outfall. Sewer does not create an issue with neighboring building. From public safety, police and fire, coordinate with public safety regarding exact location of the FDC, fire department connection, and connection diameters. Contact public safety to determine Knox box location near the main entrance and secondary location near, again, the FDC. The landscape plan provided is conceptual in nature. This is from forestry. Please submit a finalized landscape plan for additional review. And then a note that there are overhead primary electrical lines in the rights-of-way of both Cormier and San Luis. Please ensure that tree plantings near them will not interfere with the wires when the trees reach full maturity. And from Bike and Ped, ensure the proposed bicycle parking facilities meet the standards of the Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals. With that, I can certainly answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll actually show a couple of renderings here just for reference. The development, or representative from Engberg Anderson is also in the audience if you have questions for them specifically.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
I have a question. Has this PUD been approved?
No, this has not been approved yet. This is going through the process with site plan review.
So what's the height restriction on that currently?
Currently, it's 36 feet.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
I have one question in regards to the area where you have a swimming pool. Is that going to be a restricted access area?
I guess I'll hand it off to the development team for that question. Marianne, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Mariana Arena, 320 East Buffalo Street, Milwaukee. Sorry. The pool will be for use for the residents of the building. It will be in the first floor, so gated, so only people that live in the building can have access of that space.
Okay, that was the reason for my question. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The only comment I got to compliment your staff on putting together a nice brochure here of colored pictures. We normally don't get them quite this vivid in the drawings that we get. I really think this helps us in making decisions here when you get this type of artwork to show what the products that are going to look like on the exterior of the building. So you did a great job there.
If you want, I have the samples here of the material. I can bring that to you so you can see it in person.
All right. I know our man at the table with you does a good job in making sure our ordinances are all up to date with products used, so I don't have any question on that. So I don't have anything else.
I have a couple other. Have we had anybody that
Could you move just a little closer?
has complained about the height?
Not to date.
And there is no residential anywhere around there that I can think.
So there's some
Well, I mean-
residences to the northwest,
West, yeah.
so near Target.
North of Target.
Well, the height is pretty much buried in a hill. Am I correct?
Well, you get
So that what is actually going to be exposed above ground level from the hill would be the question of what is shown, so.
Correct, so you're looking at, it's 58 feet on the north side, so on the Target side, of the development.
At their ground level,
At
the building ground.
Building ground level, correct. And then of course, as you head further to the west, the slope does continue to increase.
Right, right.
Soften it up a little bit.
As always,
No,
you
I'm
know,
good.
Ingberg Anderson does a beautiful job in designing buildings, so thank you, Tim. I know that he always does a lot of great stuff, so, and you, Marianne.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, concerns? I'll entertain a motion.
I make that motion, Mary.
You're going to make the motion?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Andy Krosky, seconded by Carrie, to move forward with staff conditions, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the planned unit development for the Promenade Active Adult Living and Branch Library with staff conditions. Any other comments, concerns, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 7, department reports.
Let's see, at this point, I have not received any agenda items yet for middle of the month. But that said, I do know that the Bellin Youth Clinic that was submitted for site plan review a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, has submitted to E-Plan exam for a construction plan review. So they'll be getting going here pretty shortly. So that project will kick off this fall yet.
Okay. Okay, so that did 7 and 8. Number 9, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.